Very good morning, everyone. I am truly honored to be here at Odoo Community Days. I come from a slightly unconventional background, one can say, for an ERP session particularly. I am trained in law and certainly not in software. But over the years, I have worked with tech-driven organizations, and I've seen that it connects both the worlds. When systems are fragmented, business lose efficiency and they expose themselves to risk, operational risk, financial risks, and legal risks. Today, I show you how we can fix it and with a unified governance first approach that aligns with the business processes, improves visibility, builds compliance right into the system, and with an approach of digital first architecture. We explore how Odoo enables this transformation and how we can go from silos to seamless execution. So let's before diving into today's topic, let me introduce myself not as a technologist or a developer, but as someone who has spent several years solving problems where law meets technology. My journey started in courtrooms and contracts, but led me to server rooms, ERP dashboards, and certainly with risk matrices. When I saw this fragmented systems, when I saw this, fragmented systems do not slow you down; they expose you. They create security risks. They create compliance failures. They create operational chaos. My mission today is to show you how you can bring order to that chaos using the right ERP strategy, Odoo as a backbone, and governance first thinking as the mindset. Let me just ask you something. Does your inventory team uses a spreadsheet while you are purchasing, while your purchase teams uses a separate tool and your HR updates you through an email, which is perfectly manual? This does sound familiar. If it does sound familiar, you are not alone. You are exposed. Fragmented, fragmented systems do not just waste time. They increase manual work, they hide real data, and they delay decisions which are to be done in a very fairly fast manner. It also leaves you vulnerable to compliance failures and operational costs. One client I worked with said it absolutely best that it's like running an orchestra with no conductor. Everyone's playing, but it sounds like a chaos. Let's look at what chaos can cost you. So, what does fragmentation actually look like in a real business scenario? It feels like a situation we are witnessing where there are stockouts in the warehouse itself, and while the inventory is being unused and sitting idle, procurement team starts ordering materials after production has already started. It looks like your auditor is asking for access logs, and all you can give them is a trail of emails. And in some cases, it's still manual, and some people even cannot give a trail of emails. That's the scenario in terms of manual handling. Fragmentation is not just a tech problem. It's a cost problem. It's a risk problem, and certainly it's a growth problem. That's why we are here today and to change that. Now imagine this: your sales team closes a deal, and that triggers a purchase order. After that, inventory is auto checked, materials are dispatched, and production starts. The invoice goes out, all without switching tools. That is unified operations. It's not a future concept which is to be done in years ahead. It's what Odoo enables today. Every process is connected and traceable and moves from blind spots to full visibility, from risk to readiness. So why Odoo? Because it's not a monolithic overbuilt ERP or just a patchwork of small tools, some people say. It's a modular platform. You can start where the pain is the sharpest. You say inventory or HR and scale when ready. It's fully integrated with real-time data and a shared backend. That means no duplication, no miscommunication, and no rework. Plus, the audit trails and access control are baked in. So it does not just works well, it works securely. All that at a fraction of a traditional ERP cost. So let's get this real, right? In many Indian businesses, a typical work order moves through WhatsApp, Excel, Tally, and certainly about phone calls as one certainly does in the whole day's working. Sales certainly starts on WhatsApp, and stocks are either checked on Tally or maybe manually. I firmly believe there are a lot of individuals who are still checking their stocks manually over a phone call or something. And then approval, that certainly happens over a phone call only. Invoice maybe later once everything is checked out and later somebody does an entry in Tally and things get around to it. This patchwork seems manageable, but certainly until it isn't. When chaos kicks in, when anxieties are at the door, when things are not delivering. So unified operations is the most important aspect of any business unit. This ununified operation can lead to mistakes, delays, compliance risks, and certainly higher cost. With Odoo, you perfectly flip that. One system, one login, one version of truth. It's all about efficiency. It's about visibility, control, and trust. So let me walk through one of our clients' journey, a mid-sized electronic distributor back in New Delhi, and they had all classic signs of fragmented systems. They used to take order via WhatsApp, and certainly stocks required a normal call to the warehouse, and HR and payroll were being their operations were being done through an Excel sheet, and procurement flows floated through emails, and no one had the full view of what's in the stock or maybe what was promised. So we implemented Odoo across sales, inventory, purchase, accounts, and HR, all in phases. Within 3 months, they had real-time inventory sync across 3 warehouses, error-free dispatch, and sales teams using mobile dashboards instead of spreadsheets. And that was a clear change on their end in terms of operations. This wasn't just a tech upgrade. This was more of a governance upgrade. So the question arises, what does unification leads to? The sheer answer of the same lies with numbers holistically. Inventory accuracy jumped from 65% to 95%. Dispatch time dispatch time accuracy dropped from 3 days to same day, and audit preparation time went from over a week to just 2 hours, as everything is baked in a very unified fashion. These aren't just operational wins, these are risk reducers, cost saving, and certainly confidence boosters across business. When systems talk to each other, the whole company speaks the same truth. That truth drives results. So, when it comes to us, what we do, what value we bring onto the table, we just don't install software. We design a system that fits your operation, your team, your compliance requirements. Our approach is structured into 4 clear phases. First, we discover the gaps. Whether it's operational, legal, or visibility related. Then we design a blueprint tailored to your business with Odoo modules mapped to actual workflows. We deploy with training, testing, and minimal disruptions. Finally, we support you beyond go live with SLAs, user refreshers, and compliance updates. It's not a switch, it's a journey. We walk it with you. Let me show you what looks like inside Odoo. We'll walk through some of the flows which are very critical for most of the businesses, whether it's inventory management or a full-scale sales to the delivery life cycle, HR onboarding with payroll. These are some of the flows which are very common in organizations and we generally do in our day-to-day operations. Whether you are in sales or finance or operations or HR mode, this is what transformation looks like when it's done right. So let's start with the very beginning, the CRM interface. This is where our journey begins, with a clear view of all leads and opportunities. Odoo CRM dashboard acts as a single entry point for all the customer engagement. Every lead is logged here. No more scattered Excel sheets or forgotten WhatsApp messages. Sales rep can easily update real-time things which are real-time actions which are they are doing, and ensuring management and as well as colleagues have real-time update on every activity. Once the lead is qualified, we move to conversion. When a lead meets our criteria, which is budget, authority, need, timeline, we convert it into customer record. All the history from the lead stage stays attached to it. Emails, call logs, notes, any other information such as any specific note which is to be given to a customer, that is simply attached to it. No retyping, no lost context. The conversion triggers the next step in the sales workflow automatically. Now we are ready to propose it. From customer record, we generate a sales quotation. Odoo pulls in production data, pricing, terms, directly from the database. No manual copy paste. This reduces human error, ensure compliance with pre-approved pricing policies. Quotation can be emailed directly from Odoo and even signed electronically. So there is no legal gap which is to be faced later on if the deal goes wrong. Every transaction ties back to a master record. Odoo maintains a single source of truth for each customer or vendor. All sales orders, purchase order, payments, communication link are back here. This ensures audit readiness. If regulators or internal auditors ask for a proof, we have a full trail in a single click. When customer approves, we confirm a sales order. This confirmation locks in sales and triggers our dependent workflows like checking inventory or creating purchase requests. Stock reservations happen automatically to avoid overpromising. Finance sees the order instantly and enables faster invoicing and revenue recognition. When there is sales invoice generation, then there is sales invoice generation. If we don't have enough stock, procurement is triggered, or Odoo automatically raises a purchase order to replenish the inventory, and the system selects approved vendors, applies negotiated pricing, and routes the PO for approval via workflows. No messy email chains. This keeps purchasing policy compliant and speeds up the whole procurement process altogether. Next, we manage incoming cost. When vendor ships goods, they send invoice. Odoo matches the purchase invoice with the PO and good receipt. Three-way matching. This automated match, reduces fraud risk and prevents overpayment to the vendor. Payments are processed with complete traceability. Once verified, Odoo schedules and releases payment according to the agreed payment terms. Payment status updates in real time both procurement and finance teams see it instantly. This integration prevents duplicate and late payments. If the sales involves production, manufacturing kicks in. Odoo generates a manufacturing order based on the BOM, which is bill of material. Work order can be created for each stage with clear demarcation of deadlines and responsibilities. Real-time production status helps align sales processes promises with the factory output. The BOM is the DNA of any product. Odoo stores a detailed breakdown of components, quantities, assembly instructions. This ensures consistent quality and helps compliance, especially in a regulated industry. Any change in BOM is logged for traceability and can be found very easily. Manufacturing order ensures everyone knows what to do and when. Task is assigned to specific stations or teams, and there is the completion is task is tracked digitally. No more paper job cards, no more messy things. Managers can spot bottlenecks instantly and reassign work if needed. Once the stock is ready, we are here to share. Odoo generates a delivery order integrated with shipping providers if configured. Barcode scanning at dispatch ensures accuracy. Inventory updates automatically the moment goods leaves the warehouse. Before customer sees the product, quality kicks in. QC is a very important aspect. When the production has not been done right, QC steps are integrated into the workflow. Nothing can ship without passing inspection. Results are logged for compliance and customer service. Failures triggers corrective action automatically. Finally, inventory is updated in real time. Every movement, whether it's sales, purchase, or manufacturing, reflects instantly in the Odoo dashboard. This real-time visibility helps avoid bottlenecks as well as stockouts in any production environment. Accurate data supports better forecasting and leaner operations. So, as we said, one workflow, one system, no silos. In a unified flow, every department sees the same data at the same time. There is no retyping, no rechasing colleagues, and of course, no compliance blind spots. This is the power of running your operations in Odoo and streamlining in a very compliant and in an efficient way. So let's take a health check of our organizations, right? If there are sorry. So there are symptoms to everything. We need to identify those symptoms and thereby check which disease is lurking, which is about to get infected, and how we can prevent that in our organizations. If this is true for your company, please let's have a unified approach to operation altogether. So if your team copy paste between systems, that's a really in today's term a red flag. If you still rely on WhatsApp for internal approvals, still that's not a unified system. If you dread audit season, that's simply an anxiety which kicks in when auditor is sitting on our doorstep and we are unable to find the appropriate record at appropriate time. If the answer to all the three questions which are posed is a yes to it, you are not running. It means that you are running a fragmented system, and it's a fragmented operation holistically. That's exactly what we are here to fix. By now you're probably wondering how do we actually do it? We don't perfectly push everything to day one. That's simply chaos. Instead, we start the system audit, understanding what's broken, duplicated, or risky. We build a minimum viable process flow. That's very essential for any deployment of ERP. Let's say whether it's inventory, sales, or accounts, and we deploy that and train your teams once it's stable and we expand it. So finally, after all those activities, we bake in data governance, auditability, and control. That's not just a unification. That's that's sustainable approach to things. That's compliance. That's business aligned transformation. So this is where my work goes beyond ERP. Most businesses install systems for efficiency, but very few build them for compliance and risk control. With Odoo, the way we implement it, you get audit logs and session histories are key for every action. Role based access, so no one sees more than they need to see. Approval workflows, and built-in readiness for regulations such as DPDP Act, which is Data Prevention and Data Privacy Act, GDPR, and ISO 27000. Because your system scales, regulator doesn't care if your data is in 5 systems. All they care about is whether you can prove you have access to it, you can take action on it, and you can control it. That's why we make governance a part of design. It's not an afterthought. So here we are to the end, certainly. If this talk sparked any question or solution you wish to explore, here we are. Here are 4 simple ways you can take this forward. You can book a one-on-one session with me or my team certainly, and request a free system audit where we examine your current stack in your scenarios, what challenges you face in your organizations. After evaluating it, we suggest you tools and build a demo which is tailored to you and your team within your understanding constraints. You can simply send us a real use case and we'll map it to Odoo for you. It's Our goal is very simple. We help you to move from a fragmented systems to a very unified operations. That is securely and that is with an approach of securely, practically, and profitably. So I think we are truly to the end. Uh, I would love to hear from you guys if there is any questions. Nothing is too small, certainly. Please.
Sir, whatever you said was about medium enterprises. What I
Right.
There are many small enterprises where there is just one business owner, one manager, and everything is done by labors. So this solution, the whatever you showed, like there is an inventory.
It is.
So what you showed was there was an inventory and there was a bomb for that. Right. And that is only for assembly making, I guess. I'm into textile and I have looms. Okay. Okay. So I cannot put bill of materials over there and say that this happened. If you have any knowledge of looms, there is a beam, there is web, there is this, there is that. There are so many things which I don't think these can be implemented. And there are softwares for that. I'm not saying there are not. But whatever this is for medium enterprises and big enterprises. For small enterprises,
Am I audible?
yes, of course.
Not again. If you are running a loop, so you have multiple elements in warehouse, right? And you have to check how the warehouse is doing. So what you have to do with the warehouse manager? You have to do the invoicing. you have to consider GST, you have to do the accounting, right? And apart from that, you have to track all the shipments and the amount of goods from where it's coming, who is your supplier, what type of goods you are needing, what price you have negotiated, what is the discounted price, when you take the like let me give you an example. You are running, right? And you have urgent order to supply some clothes because of the route you are to clothes, and you are running out of threads. So you can see that this supplying the goods in a 3 days or 5 days, right? Or maybe one to the trades you are required, it's of cotton or police or whatever, and there is
So that is the pipeline that I know.
yes. So there is a solution for the you can say either it's manufacturing in the municipal one, right? Now what we have to understand what is your business look like, what is your case, so that we told you what is your case. You are running a loop, it is a case study. You are fencing inventory, it is a case study. You are running a warehouse, you are managing your inventory, you are you are getting the invoices, right? So this is the case study, and you are based on this case study, we build the solution around it, right? So I know that once you does not fit to all, but we have a plan where we build the solution for you only around you.
Why I'm saying this is because our industry has a thin profit of margin.
Right.
So we cannot have HR for that, manager for that, this for that, to control all these Odoo apps. If we someone is there, I don't think so. They are going to get a profit of margin based on what I think.
I absolutely agree with you. And there is a concept I perfectly mentioned that's called modularity. We change these modules according to your suitability. It's not like we are imposing this process as it is. We'll be changing so that you stay in profit, thereby creating a very smoother flow. I believe
And also the pricing that Odoo sells. Whatever thing means I am using a software. Okay, there are many pain points in that. I'm not saying there are not, but I get the software very cheaply. That's 10,000 year once and 3,500 per year. And I get GST, I get images generated, and there are so many things. I get everything. I get clean, back, twist, but there are certain pain points. But the pricing that Odoo is setting, that's very high compared to.
so let's
Let me tell you what is the pricing. Odoo is having been all right? And I don't think this is a higher price. When one user can manage, like you don't have HR department or like department. So you just you can use automation. So multiple departments you want to do. So one I say you know that you can enter compensation, or you can enter pay the invoices. You can have the GPUs over there. You can manage your warehouse and inventory. Everything in a year. I don't think it's a bad result.
That's for tailored one or for the thing that you are doing.
See, who has lots of problems, right? And according to you,
let's meet after this session in a 1-on-1 fashion. We'll understand your processes and thereby change the modularity of this to a process which suits you personally.
Why I'm saying is, if you come to Surat,
Mhm.
there are 10,000 people in this industry and they don't have a software like this.
certainly,
I would love to come to Surat and thereby solve the problem.
I'm just giving an opportunity that yes, I am using a software, but 10,000 out of 10,000, 2,000 will be using the kind of software that is little bit upgraded. Rest 8,000 are just doing accounting, only bills. Other than bills, they are doing not doing anything.
Absolutely, absolutely.
so let me this session so I'll let you know how you can understand your case.
Any other question? I think we are concluding. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.